Aloha, everyone, in another level living land. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Freedom Fridays. So happy that you're here. We have an amazing special guest who's going to be sharing some awesome wisdom with you today. Let me just tell you a little bit about what this show is about before I introduce her and all her awesomeness. So this show is actually for you as the entrepreneur, to support you in achieving success in business and life harmony. We never want to get so busy making a living that we forget to make a life. And it is possible to work smarter, not harder, create time, money, and emotional freedom. So we interview amazing entrepreneurs who are doing just that, helping us take the pressure off, not add to it. And today we're going to be talking about gardening, especially in these times. I want y'all to give a warm, another level living welcome to Dr. Laura Christine, who's here with us today. Dr. Laura, so happy that you're here with us today.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Heather. I am thrilled to be here with you. This is an honor.
Awesome. Awesome. We're going to have such a good conversation today. Let me tell you what we're going to talk about, okay? We're going to talk about how to grow a garden for our health, to offset shortages, etc., to be able to have a view that is providing education from a standpoint of soul, body, and spirit viewpoint, how a garden provides health for wholeness of the person. And let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Laura. Dr. Laura Christine, she's a traditional naturopath, ordained minister, and gardening educator who loves to teach, support, and inspire others on their gardening journey. Now, she's known as the kitchen garden expert. Now, for those of you who may be like me, who've always wanted to have a garden and figure out how to grow stuff, and maybe we don't have a green thumb, but the idea has always been there, you're going to want to listen into this. So, Dr. Laura, thank you so much again for being here. And tell us, what are go ahead and start sharing with us some of your amazing wisdom. What can we do to be able to be better with gardening in these times? And first of all, even before that, why gardening?
Why not? Why not? The obvious, we all know prices are rising. Half the time you don't know where your food's coming from. Gardening, of course, a lot of us are starting to get into the fall season, but you can even still grow in the fall season, and you can grow throughout the winter. But gardening is great to, where your source is. And it has been proven that homegrown fruits and vegetables and herbs have probably between 20 and 40% more nutrition in it than what you would buy conventionally at the store.
Wow.
So yeah, which is incredible, and it makes sense because a lot of times they will pick something half ripe or whatever, throw it on a truck and ship it to you. And it'll ripen on the way, or it might not be ripe when you pick it out. Also, the methods of growing. I'm a big proponent, of course, because of my naturopathy, on natural, organic. You'll hear me say that all the time, but using non-chemical, natural methods of growing, like composting and, feeding that soil, making that soil healthy to make your plant healthy. And then the plant, of course, produces, and it's all about that health. So times like now, gardening, it's a lot cheaper to take a little packet of lettuce seeds, and you can get lettuce for a couple of weeks, and you paid maybe $1.99 or $2.99 for that little packet and just a little bit of water. It's that kind of thing.
I love that. I love that. And what will that do for us? How will that make us feel, like being able to experience that? Because for some reason, one of the things I probably hear, because maybe it's in my head, oh my gosh, gardening might be too hard or too complicated, or do I have time for that? What if it doesn't work? Right.
Well, and that's where somebody like me comes in, and I'm in the process. Actually, in the next month, we are looking at doing an online kind of educational piece with people, where we would meet once or twice a month and talk about gardening and gardening tips. A person like me, and I also, a freebie at my website at Kitchen Garden Expert, you can pick up a newsletter and kind of read through the newsletters if you so choose. But it's all about finding that person that can help you out with even just a little basics, and a lot of us, gardening, the principles go across the board. It doesn't matter where you live, unless maybe Hawaii might be a little difficult, and Florida, just because it's a little off as
Lava
far
rock.
as yeah. Florida right now is going into their fall, and it's going to be 70s and 80s now. And I'm up in the Midwest, and we're getting ready for the cold. And I know you guys are too, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things I was concerned about. Is it you said it's possible to grow in the fall and the winter seasons. Can you share with us a little bit how, or like how is that
Sure.
possible? Because I just feel like everything's going to be frozen.
Well, let's start with the fall, since we're right now at a really good time to put in one last, crop or whatever. You can do beans, you can do zucchini, but you have to look for seeds or plants that are already started, but look for seeds that mature quicker. So like, for example, my zone, my first frost date is how you do it. You look for your first frost date. Our frost date here is October 15th. So I have about 8 weeks-ish until that frost date. So then I look for seeds that mature quick. So I'm looking for seeds that mature between 50 and 55 days. And actually, I'm getting ready to plant some beans today, with the hopes that, that they'll be 50 days, that they'll be mature, and we'll be picking beans before it gets too cold. So those kinds of things, as far as still summer crops for the fall. Then also you can take your cooler weather crops, which are like your broccolis and your cabbages and your peas and your Brussels sprouts, and those can be planted now. So by the time it gets cooler, they will do better because they are a cold weather plant. So that's that kind of concept. So there's still time in the fall. As far as the winter, there's different things you can do. If you are a gardener, there's cold frames, there's different, that kind of thing. You can't grow, of course, beans or zucchini in there, but you could do lettuces and spinach, your cooler weather crops, provided you give enough insulation.
Okay.
Those cold frames is a frame that goes over your garden.
Will that help with like critters? Like I keep thinking about like the critters who want to start eating. Oh, it's so good. Your garden is so good. Like we have little bunnies, little hares.
Oh, yes.
So how can we prevent our crops from getting eaten by them?
Well, I laugh at the bunnies. I have a really fast story to tell you. Last year, I'm a kitchen garden expert. Kitchen garden is basically a raised bed. I put in a new raised bed. One day I saw something moving in the raised bed, and I pulled the lettuce back, and there were 2 baby bunnies in my garden. And I'm like, okay. I did not, my girlfriend is like, you got to get rid of them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to touch them. They didn't eat the lettuce. They didn't eat the carrots. They just kind of hid until they were big enough, and then they jumped out of the garden. Oh. So, but wouldn't that be nice if that was how it was all of the time? Yeah. Critters, a lot of times, chicken wire, you can plant different plants that have a smell. Like rabbits will not touch garlic or onions. And I always plant in between all of my crops, garlic and onions. And it's very rare that they even nibble on anything.
What about deer? Because we got a lot.
Deer is a whole different, my parents actually had dealt with deer. They eventually wound up with an electric fence, but they tried, and it worked for a while, hanging Irish Spring soap all around the garden, and the smell repelled the deer.
Oh, that would be so good. Because we have a big old deer population.
Deer
everywhere.
Yeah. Try that. Yeah. The deer are difficult. Deer are difficult. A lot of times, a lot of people will fence everything in, and it's 6-8 foot fence. Which, it's just like, oh, it doesn't look so pretty, but
they're stubborn because they'll leap.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my parents lived in the woods, and they had the Irish Spring soap worked for a while. We think that it didn't work because they weren't around as much. Like, it was a summer home, so they come in back and forth. So the lack of people around, then it was a free for all. When they get back, the garden was gone,
I know, right? That's one of the things that kind of prevented me from even doing it was because like all these critters are going to come eat my garden. I'll be growing all this stuff. But let's talk about the benefits. So sorry we got on a tangent of the animals, but that was just a personal question for me for y'all.
Hey,
What about people
take
in the
advantage.
city? What about people in the city? If they're in the city and there's really not a lot of places to plant, can they start like a home garden or something like that?
You can you can do a lot of containers. You can do a lot of gardening in containers on porches, indoors, like we're talking about the winter time. You can do, like, they have these little mini, I guess you call them greenhouses. It's just a metal structure and they put like a plastic covering over it. You can do that and put trays or containers on top of, I use heating pads in the winter, and that keeps the soil warm. As far as your lighting, you do not have to spend an arm and a leg on grow lights, because you can go out there, and I did this past couple of years, and get the strip lights. You can the strip lights that you put under a countertop or that kind of thing. As long as it's a full spectrum light, as long as it has all of the colors in it, it's fine for the seedlings or the plants that you're growing. I mean, it's just a matter of keeping that soil warm, and keeping the right amount of light. If you don't want to do the strip lights, you can just go to Walmart and get a little, it's a grow light. It's, round, put it in a little, shade, and that does it. There's very inexpensive ways to do it.
Okay.
It doesn't actually have to be in that greenhouse, but if you want to keep like things moist, that kind of thing, you can do a little mini greenhouse. You can set it on a sunny windowsill. You just got to kind of watch the plants, watch my house exposure is north. So it's very difficult for me to grow things indoors, anything per se that we could actually eat. I have a family of 5, here, have a piece of lettuce. So I grow things during the winter, like microgreens, and this is going to flip to the health part. Microgreens are basically seedlings. They get maybe half an inch to an inch high, and I cut them, and we will put those on salads or just put them in a smoothie or that kind of thing. Microgreens are probably like the most nutritious green or plant you can get as far as nutrition. And it doesn't take much to grow a microgreen.
Oh, okay. I gotta give it hard on that. And I don't even know if it'll show up on the Facebook Live, but that's so awesome because, one of the things that a lot of people struggle with, when we're in this business building, we can get so busy with our business building that we tend to neglect our health. We tend to neglect what's most important, and our health is really our wealth, right? And I get it. I'm not immune, right? So it took a while to be able to figure out how to fall in love with all that I am and health as well, because that is what's really going to help us with longevity. So crucial. So you talked already about like the benefit of doing this gardening from a cost perspective, but what you're really highlighting as well is this power of a health perspective and how that can be so crucial. You talked a little bit about that too, and that can be so crucial for us. And so one of the things I have a question is, why is it so important, especially now, from your perspective?
From my perspective, I think stress in this world, with everything we've gone through up to this point, I think stress is like, with people, getting outside is the best thing for us, even if it's for 5 minutes to be outside in the sunshine. And this is a little kind of joke. My family teases me. They call me a tree hugger. If you were to hug a tree, don't show it.
Feels so good. They hug you back.
Yeah. If you're to hug a tree, there is an energy, because we are energy beings. Plants have energy. It's a transfer of energy. Or take off your shoes and walk on the ground or in the sand or wherever you're at. It's so good for up here. It is so good for us to be outside, and to just being outside, even if it's digging in the dirt or just even looking at plants. I mean, you don't have to do anything. Just to even be outside is very good for your mindset, your mental health. It relaxes the body. I know you know that. You could make a long list of all the benefits. We are designed to be moving and outside.
So
We really are.
Dr. Laura, you hit the nail on the head so well. Everyone who's listening, I hope you heard that, because, yes, we can be in our cocoons, we could be surrounded by our computers and our technology, but we are by nature supposed to be in nature. So even if you can get out for like 5-10 minutes a day, take a walk in nature, is naturally healing, because we already are nature. And it was interesting. The other day I got a hit to take my daughter outside and just blow bubbles. And I'm like, perfect. Outside in nature, she's blowing the bubbles, we're having a ball. And I'm like, man, I can sit out here and blow these bubbles all day just because of being out there. Right.
Go and I tell my naturopathy clients, go outside, just look around. I always am going, hey, thank you, God, for the sunshine. Thank you for the clouds. Today it's raining here and I'm in Kansas City. Thank you for the rain. It's that gratitude piece. You start your day that way. It's amazing how your day, and I'm sure you teach that, it's just being thankful. Yes, life is hard. Yes, it's stressful. But, half of the time, the way I look at it, half of the time we can't control most of it other than our reaction. So why do we want to react negatively when there's so much positive and people are watching? Who knows what life you can touch by just being positive, even just a smile,
Oh,
it changes, even just a smile.
It could change your whole demeanor. Like, for example, if we can easily get so caught up in just going straight to the office and going to work all day. But if you have that few moments beforehand to just connect with nature, sometimes I'll go out to the water. Like, people would always ask me, why the heck are you going out to the water? I got to go connect to the nature first.
Yep.
Therefore, I can hold the space and just be there. We cannot control the things that are happening around us. Okay. But we can control how we respond to them. As much as there's probably people we would love to strangle, as much as, like, especially stress is so normal in our society right now, we've normalized stress, but it is possible to reclaim that power and take the pressure off with these things that she's sharing with us now. I love that part about just going out and taking your shoes off and just putting your feet in the grass and just letting all the nature soak in. I know some people might be like, well, Dr. Heather, this is so woo, this is so out there. No, it's actually right there.
Right. And one little tip on top of that, even if you don't take off your shoes, go outside, take a deep breath. I don't know if you teach breathing. Breathing relaxes the nervous system.
Yes. I've been such a big fan of meditation and relaxation and breath, because what happens a lot of times, if for those who may be experiencing, we've all experienced a lot of grief, a lot of losses, a lot of uncertainty. We can feel that heaviness here in our chest, and it just takes our breath away.
Right.
So now it's time to get our breath back. Wow. Exactly. Is there anything? This is so good. We can continue on and on. I just love talking to you. Can you share with us what is kind of a biggest takeaway that you want to leave us with today?
I'm a big proponent of just enjoy life right now, what you can, and getting outside. To make an effort, like we just said, even if it's 5 minutes, to just enjoy what we have, the positives. As far as the gardening and all of that, if you're interested, you know where to find me, or talk to you.
How can we get a hold of you? Where can we? So if people want to be able to connect more with your message, where can they find you?
They can find me all over the place, but if you want to go to my website, it's kitchengardenexpert.com. And I've got a free newsletter that people can sign up on there. I am building my repertoire. I don't know how many videos I have now. I'm on YouTube also. Subscribe to my channel. I'm constantly adding new things. I'm getting ready actually to add. I did a video the other day on fall planting and what we can do in the fall. So I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm all over the place.
Wow.
But no, my take home is, realize that our life is a gift. Life is a gift, and enjoy it, and and it's take time out for yourself, even if it's 5 minutes. Because I know, yes, we're all busy and things are stressful, et cetera, but just take that moment, and it can change your life. I really believe it can change your life.
Wow, what a blessing. Thank you so much for sharing that
Thank
wisdom,
you.
because it's so true. We take sometimes life for granted, or we waste it, or we let it pass us by. And you shared with us some wisdom on how to be able to take it by the hands and reclaim all that we're called to be, and just by simply being in nature. So we're so grateful for you
Awesome.
blessing our stage today. Everyone who's
Thank you.
listening, like, share, put your comments in below on what's your biggest takeaway from this message. Go ahead and get connected with Dr. Laura on her website, so therefore she can be able to continue this journey and support you in really your holistic naturopathic healing. And we look forward to seeing you again on another episode of Freedom Fridays. Peace, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Heather.